Just look like you all finally recognize that. You guys are so lucky I'm not giving an evaluation today because there will be no diatribes from our evaluators. Up first, we will have Mark Maish, the ever popular Mark Maish this morning apparently, evaluating Credit Red.
Everybody turn your phones on.
I need it. The word of the day, I looked at Mark Laurel and I said, I don't understand at all. So, getting ready to evaluate an icebreaker. And, you know, we've talked briefly before we talked yesterday about the icebreaker. Kyle, you know, we had a conversation. I think it's one of the hardest speeches to give. I really do. I don't know if anybody else agrees. You know, my history goes back over 20 years seeing some things in this club that happen. And I really get suspicious of someone who comes out here and gives an icebreaker that is just totally perfect and wows us and all that, because what happens is they usually find out they don't need us. And so I really like it when I see someone like you who works so hard and so much preparation and work and commitment and determination, which you express. You know, I just love that about this, because I know on my icebreaker, I don't know how many hours I worked on it, but I could never get it right, and it always sounded stupid, and I was really, really upset with myself. But I did it, and then I realized that I could go on to the next speech, and the next speech is the neatest thing, because you can relax. It isn't as difficult. You just simply have to do the format that Toastmasters outlined. You've done the hard one. So as we go on, let's look at what I look for in an icebreaker. And as I expressed to you, my expectations are pretty low. Did I find out more about you than I knew before? Absolutely. Just think about all of the things that I learned. I learned about a 17-year-old, I almost could go there, to a 17-year-old girl who trusted her intuition and did that thing that has worked. At the concern of parents and loved ones, what is she doing with her life? Does she understand it? And I saw like I said, the intuition and everything here, and that shone through. I also saw a train wreck somewhere in your life where an event, maybe it was just exemplified by that meeting at work where you ran up against a wall. And I know that one so well too. I don't know if it was an anxiety attack, been there with that. And so what comes through all the time for me is a determination. I'm going to find out what's at the core of this and what's at the bottom of this. And you did it today. You came up and showed us that this is what your intentions are. I would suggest that you do something that I saw my wife do. She gave her icebreaker and it lasted 1 minute and 23 seconds. Of that, she says 30 seconds at least was audible pause or inaudible pause. So she talked for about 20 seconds. She got a few words out. She stayed, and people thought she was going to quit. I think Laurel probably remembers that speech. And about her fourth speech, we were getting ready to go to a meeting. And she was nervous as can be and had worked really hard. She had pages and pages of the written word. And we got in the car and getting ready to leave, and she said, wait a minute, I've got something to do. And she went back in to the house and took her written word and threw it back in the house and got up here and told us what she needed to say. It was awesome. That's where I like to see you go. Go just play the opposite and just talk to us. Thank you.
I think we should motion to always have Mark do evaluations for icebreakers.
Second.
I'm so gracious. Thank you, Mark. Next up, we will have John Ruck giving an evaluation of Richard Brewer. John.
Richard, your body speaks. This is what you were supposed to be accomplishing in your 5th speech with us. And this was a very emotional speech. What I want you to think about is, and everybody to think about is, an emotional speech needs some relief. And that you could tie in, your body speaks to give us that relief. You know, I was getting pretty wrapped up, and there was a very somber mood with the group. And you had a couple of key spots where I wanted you to give us that relief. And that's what I want you to work on and improve on. Your eye contact is excellent, and that's one of the tenets of your body speaks is eye contact with everyone in the room. And it is excellent. I think you've very much accomplished that. Your gestures are, I believe Brad pointed this out last week, were right in here. Rather than, and you made a couple of movements like this and with your hands, but you really want to get us, you really want to suck us in. You really want us to feel this, but also accomplish some relief during the speech. Because otherwise you're draining energy from us rather than giving us the energy. Your facial expressions were also well done. I noticed you were distracted in the beginning and in the end, but that was natural because you had some noise to your left and you had a cell phone go off somewhere, which actually kind of broke the tension because you had a little bit of, now you had the smile. So we all related to how your father, and it's really true, I mean, everybody in this room knows somebody or has a family member who struggled with drugs or alcohol. And I think that although I love your prop, I don't think that really added to the whole message. Or I think we talked about this or where you should put it, and although it means a lot to you, I think it really didn't mean a lot to the audience. Overall, I was drawn in by the speech. Use the manual to learn from and really focus on each one of the lessons and go for that. Thank you.
Thank you, John. As you can see, once you get a little bit more advanced in our club and you give a couple of speeches, you get really honest evaluations. And I wrote on Richard's card, I thought this was the best speech I'd ever seen you give, just from a stance and the flow of your speech. But I love John's evaluation with the things that you can improve upon, and I really like that about our club. So everything here is said in love and goodwill. Next we'll have Karen Bradley.
Get your butt in there.
We'll have Karen Bradley evaluate my Yukon.
Well, Marty, you really had me going. When you showed me your evaluation thing for me to fill out, I said resignation, and you said, well, I'm going to tell about that. Well, I thought that it was going to be a joke. But then when you got up here and you started talking about it, you really had me. I thought, my God, he's really going to resign. But then I thought, but he was finding somebody to be Toastmaster. I don't know. So I was confused. I was confused at the very beginning. But then as you read the email, I knew exactly where you were going with the thing. And I thought, what a great speech idea to just read something. and making comments about what you'd read in one of those silly emails. But one thing that really caught me, and it was not about the speech delivery, was the part of the email where she gave the initials of the company, and that is one of my biggest pet peeves, and you and I have talked about before, of pet peeves about on TV, and they always just give initials and they never tell what it is, and I don't know what they're even talking about. So I thought you really, your hook was good, of course your delivery is good, and the premise of it was very unique, because I just would not have thought of giving a speech about that, but I will. The next time I have to give one and I'm not prepared, I'll just read it. Your speech was entertaining, and as far as thinking of anything you could improve on, I mean,
Come on, Karen, hit me, come on.
You had your story and you told it. So, that's it.
I guess you can just go ahead and resign.
It's like a eulogy right there.
Can we have a timer's report, please?
John and Karen were in time and Mark was over.
Thank you. Mr. President.
Thanks a lot, Jesse, and all the evaluators. Once again, evaluation session was top notch. This is one of the best things this club does.